Yeah, it's happening right now. The game is not finished yet, but Denver's up 44 to 27 on the Lakers. And honestly, this is exactly what I expected for it to happen in the first game, right? Denver's just one of these teams where it's like they're ready for anything and they got a lot of guys who can contribute all of the time, right? And I know that it's not even halftime yet, but in my opinion, if they keep going like this, then this could be the telltale of the series. I do want to say that, like, for right now, what I do see is that Dennis Schroeder is playing great, right? LeBron is playing great, but it just looks like the Denver is too much. I don't want to make any assumptions, and I don't want to be too hard on these teams because I do believe that first this it would be a gross overreaction because the game hasn't finished. But just looking at the numbers, the Nuggets scored 37 points in the first quarter, and they look like they're about to do that again because they have scored 7 in the second quarter. The Lakers scored 25 in the first quarter and 4 now in the second quarter as LeBron just made a shot. I do believe that what I see is that LeBron is shouldering a bigger load. And I know this is something that's required, but I do see that a lot of guys are not taking shots. Like D'Angelo Russell, I see him, he is 0 for 2, that's weird. And how I say, I don't mean to grossly overreact, but I think that if this is any telltale sign of what's about to come, then then Denver might be too much for the Lakers. You know, the Lakers are tough. They're grimy. They play defense, and they consistently get their guys open, good looks, and everything. But I do believe that there's a problem with the Lakers, and it's how do you stop a team who can put up 150, 130 points purely off of offense and then actually has perimeter defenders, right? Like, that's my question right now. Of course, the game is close, but this is what I was talking about. That Denver is just so much for anybody, right? Like, their home court is insane. They have the altitude, which I know I talk about a lot, but it's really something that actually affects teams. As even though, yes, some teams are just more used to it and a lot of players have played there, it is an advantage that they get just because of the city that they're in. Like any other team, it doesn't have to be the Nuggets. Like if the Miami Heat were placed in Denver, then they would have that advantage too. And like that with any team, right? Like Denver is just a tough city to play in, and let's face that. But I do believe that something for the Lakers is, can you guard the Nuggets? The Nuggets are deep. They're 5 guys in, right, who could just kill you. And they're 7 guys in who could actually, like, really hurt you, right? No, 6 guys in who could actually really hurt you. The problem with me is, how are you going to stop this team, right? Like, who do you guard more? Are you guarding more Jokic, which obviously you have Anthony Davis, but let's face it, Anthony Davis is awesome, but even he has problems guarding Jokic, right? Like, how are you going to guard Aaron Gordon? Which, even though, yes, Aaron Gordon is awesome, right? Like, he's getting a lot of open looks. He gets so many open looks, so many good plays, and the offense gets ran through him sometimes when they're putting too much pressure on everybody else, and that's your fourth man, right? How are you guarding Jamal Murray, right? We know that he's clutch. We know that he can actually play in the playoffs, and we know that he's good. I do believe that in this series there are going to be some games where he's going to choke, and that's just a prediction of mine. But it's like, if we look at just something like rebound numbers, Anthony Davis has 2 rebounds, and Nikola Jokic has 14. We're not even at halftime yet. That's looking, at this pace, he's probably going to get like 40 rebounds. Will Chamberlain numbers, of course, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, and there are many things which could go wrong and might go wrong. But I do believe that there's a mental aspect to this game which the Lakers might not be able to handle. This game, other games in Denver, and I do believe that this is the time where we have to see LeBron James be LeBron James consistently on offense. LeBron James has played great defense, but defense is not just gonna win, right? With the Warriors, that was the case because as soon as you shut off everybody, Steph Curry can't win by himself, right? And let's face it, you get one bad game from Jordan Poole, and that might be raps for you just because if Clay isn't fucking game 6 Clay, then how are you actually going to generate most of the offense to that team as your big man lineups are limited? Then you have a guy like then you have a team like the Grizzlies where it's like, apart from Ja, how are they going to generate enough offense to win, right? And things like that, right? Where it's like, with the other teams, there was glaring weaknesses. But with this team, you have two guys, two of them, which really get it done, right? Which are Jokic and Jamal Murray. And then you have another set of guys which just know and respect getting efficient looks. They don't have heat seekers. They don't have people who want to be the GOAT. They don't have people who want to be selfish. They have just a bunch of guys who play to the system, who play efficient basketball, cut to the rim, pass, redirect yourself, and they play like that all night. They have veterans, and the only thing that I could see them suffering in is actually, when it comes down the stretch, who's going to make the big plays when they're tripling Jokic, right? Throwing doubles on Jokic. That's the only problem. But from the Sun series, I could see that that's no issue for them. So, not to grossly overreact, but the Denver might win this series. I predicted them to win originally just off the strength of their team, just how they've been playing. But I do think that there's a chance that an injury may happen, and I don't mean to curse it, and I don't want to speak that into existence because I do believe that that's an actually right that's a really bad thing, and I do believe that injuries could mess up a whole team season, and they're horrible for the players mentally, and injuries just have so much to them where I do believe that they could mess up any team, any place. But I do believe that the one advantage that the Lakers have is that their team is ready to play a lot of minutes. They're going to cut deep into their bench, but they have guys who played real playoff minutes like Troy Brown, Lonnie Walker, right? They have guys who are actual rotational players who come off the bench like Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura. And then there's some other guys in there which, if they have just one game where they go off, then that could change the series. So I do believe that that's the biggest thing for Denver. It's how long can your stars play these big minutes, right? Like, there's 3 players in Denver who have 13 minutes or over, right? There's only 2 on the Lakers, and the rest are divided between the bench and stuff like that. And they do run 8-mans a lot. Even though the Lakers do too, they run 8-mans because they don't want to run more players because they need to win. So I do believe that they do have that advantage, but I think Denver will win this series. I think that they're more ready. I think that they have so many options. It's crazy. And I don't know if the Lakers can generate enough offense, right, to the point where they could put Denver in a situation where they get outscored consistently. Because Denver, right now, the second half hasn't even ended, and they already have 46 points. And in my opinion, that is something which the Lakers are going to need to check out, see what they're going to do about it. But that's my prediction. I do hope that the series goes the long way, or at least that whoever wins the series is because they play better basketball, not because of some injury or because something happens right and there's an unfair advantage, because at the conference finals is when people really start getting competitive. And yeah, I do believe that the Denver will win this series if they keep playing like they've been playing for the entire season. So let's see what happens.